Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Question Your Perception. This is Matt of the Freedom Paradox.
I am Scott Marshall of the Oath Accountability Project.
And I'm Bill Godin.
What's up, guys?
What is up is we couldn't wait to go live because we have a lot to talk about.
Oh yeah.
And mainly we want to talk about the movie Snowden. Great Oliver Stone film. Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Nailed it. Nailed it.
Nick Cage.
Surprisingly nailed it.
Yeah. I mean...
I tell you, question the great Nick Cage.
Listen, he's done some bad things.
He has. There's even some movies I won't own.
Raising Arizona. Anyways, but fantastic movie. I know Scott and we went and we saw it at the same time, and we walked out and we were kind of speechless for the first 15 minutes. It was just kind of like, dude, was all we could really get out. And then finally we were able to start breaking it down. I know, what about you, Bill?
I saw it Sunday morning, and phenomenal. I said, if half the stuff I saw was true, it's enlightening. If more than half is true, it's frightening. Absolutely.
I mean, they came right across the screen. They said it was a dramatized version of events. So that kind of makes me think that it was more non-fiction than fiction.
Oh, I would believe that.
Yeah.
So, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the movie and you really want to see it, turn this shit off, because, I mean, even though we want you to watch and listen, so, but we're going to talk about the movie, and, you know, if you know a lot about Ed Snowden, there's not much that we're really going to ruin for you.
Yeah, his life has basically spoiled this movie for you, so.
He did it.
I want to say it was like one of the first movies that I've ever seen that I can really think of where I was really familiar with the subject, like the person before I saw the movie. So when I saw Joseph Gordon-Levitt, you know, playing Snowden, I was like, oh shit, he's playing Snowden.
Yeah.
Like down to his facial position and his mannerisms and just...
Well, actually, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, when he went to see the premiere in New York City, he actually met Snowden's parents, and Ed's dad actually came up to him and said, you got him. You got him. Just flat out.
I mean, he did, down to his voice, like, he nailed his voice.
Oh, yeah.
He nailed his mannerisms, just the way that he would just sit there and as he was talking, how he would exactly, you know, just, you could tell he studied. He studied hard, if not really sat down with him at some point and really studied him.
He had to have. I've seen the interview right before the movie came out where they had some like over the air, over the web interview with Snowden and Gordon-Levitt, and it was just to see Snowden. And again, spoiler, to see him actually come in at the end of the movie and to see him play himself on the screen, that was like a fuck yes moment. Like,
yeah, it was like, damn, they got to be a part of it too. Now, I know before heading to the movie, I said to Scott, I was like, do you think this might actually be one of those movies where it was made as propaganda to put him into a negative light? You know, because I could see that of happening too, where it was a slam movie, not a movie showing what he really did.
And I was actually thinking the opposite going in. Are they going to show maybe even highlight even more of the positive of what he did in order to make him more of a good guy? I mean, He's not really a bad guy, but more of a good guy.
Right. And just the fact that It seemed they didn't go the slam route, but they also didn't try to build him up to being more than what he was.
Right.
Was pretty cool too. I mean, I know there was at one point Scott leaned over to me and was like, "Is this scene necessary?" But
Well, the scene, okay, the scene where they start having sex, I was like, "Yo, get back to like Snowden. This really isn't moving the story along." Like
he's been dropping truth bombs all this
like
whole movie.
my thought is maybe they pitched this movie and they were like, "Does anybody get fucked?" Like,
Besides the U.S. government.
it's like, what? No, we're doing Snowden, but does anybody get fucked? Sure, yeah, yes. Snowden has sex with his girlfriend.
Yeah, we're gonna show some titties,
Some side boob. There
was some straight on front and frontal, man.
Well, I mean, it was
art.
pictures.
That was where he leaned over to you. He didn't see that part.
it was pictures of her on her computer, and who's to say they didn't have
Photoshop?
No, like a like how they have stunt doubles. Well, some movies they have boob
Stunt
doubles.
cock.
They have boob doubles.
I guess.
Well, they do. Like those teenage movies where you get a nice a well-known actress, and then she's like about to pull her shirt up, and it cuts to the guy's face where they're like, and then it comes back, and you just see here,
and you're like,
yeah, that's boob. But back to off Hollywood boobs and back onto government boobs.
Yeah, I was thoroughly impressed because it did a good job of really showing every aspect of why. Now, I've watched Citizen 4. I don't know.
I have not watched it yet. It's been sitting on my hard drive for a while. The NSA has probably watched it more than I have. off of my hard drive.
But one of the things that I noticed is it was like they took Citizen 4, which was so jam-packed full of information, and packaged it in a way that the everyday person would want to see, which was turning it into a movie with actors they recognized and things like that. But a lot of what I saw, especially with the footage where he was sitting down with everybody from The Guardian and The Washington Post and everybody, I saw all those videos come out of Citizen 4 because that was their documentary they made about this whole activity that they did here. And there were even times in the movie where they recreated some of a good portion of some of this movie, some of the video that they had done for Citizen 4, but it was down to the letter. I mean, what they were talking about, how they moved, even a creepy ass phone call that came in, all of it. They made sure that they covered all of it, just so anybody who had seen Citizen 4 came in and didn't go, well, wait, that was different. It was spot on.
Were there a lot of people seeing the movie when you did?
There was a few. I know sitting in front of us, there was this old man who was just angry.
Well, I don't know if he was angry. I mean, the back of his head seemed pretty angry. He didn't move, nudge, giggle, not turn his head, scratch his nose, nothing. The whole, maybe we should have checked his pulse before.
Yeah, right. Like he got so
he
angry.
was still sitting down when he left. Like, maybe we should have checked on him.
He was like, "This is the most un-American fucking."
Like. As much as you would expect it all, maybe he did like the movie. Maybe he just shows his emotions in the back of his head differently. I don't know.
But from behind, he was pissed. We had that, and we also had somebody who I think didn't realize what movie they were in, because they kind of kept shouting things out that seemed like they were shouting it out for a horror movie. Like, no, Ed, don't do that. And it's like, wait, what? Like he's done this. This is a biopic.
This happened already.
Like, you're shouting back to Edward Snowden from 2005, sweetheart. Like, it's happened. But other than that, I mean, I would say it wasn't a packed house for sure, but it definitely wasn't empty either.
Now, there was a moment in the movie when he walks into the NSA and everybody's freaking out because they knocked out the internet in Iran. And I had a moment there where they were talking about that. I went, oh, because
I seriously
watched Scott just go like right in the theater.
Because I remember that, and the government blamed it on.
Did this?
Yep.
The government blamed it on the Iranian government, or the media did. They said, they're taking out their internet. They're trying to silence them, and our government's like, oh, we can't let them do that, and everybody online's like, oh, we can't let them do that. But come to find out, it was us. He said? Script kiddies.
Yep.
Plug some code into it wrong or something. I've heard that term before, script kiddies, in the anonymous community. It's people that copy and paste
Yep.
scripts into.
It's just, and obviously, there were times where, NSA was rocking IKEA lamps, but
Yeah, I saw that. Where I'm sitting there and they're like watching. They're watching the whole Congress thing, the congressional thing, where they're asking if they're spying on people, and like in the background, I can see. I was like, they sell those at IKEA. I was like, why would that
Right
be
now.
in an NSA base?
right now they sell this at IKEA.
Like, I could go there and get that lamp. It was, I don't know, some of you, maybe one of you that might ever see this. It's the lamp that's an orb that, opens up. Yeah.
But there was that, and then there was also the drone that looked like it was bought from Radio Shack like last month.
Right. The one
Yeah.
that crashes. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, that's not a...
Mine even flies better than that.
That's not a period correct drone. I know these drones. They didn't have that one then. Like,
But other than that, there was really nothing I could take away from it where I could get upset about. Now, I love that I have been hunting. I have been hunting for anybody in an official capacity to see what their reaction on this movie was, and nobody
Dead
has
silence.
said a fucking word.
it was definitely not approved by Washington.
Oh no, the State Department's like, oh god,
And-
can we shut this down? Do we have to kill Oliver Stone? Like, do we have to kill him?
And I really love that through most of the movie, the back of Ed Stone's laptop had the Electronic Frontier Foundation and the Tor sticker on it. The Electronic
Frontier.
The Electronic Frontier Foundation is they do all kinds of like freedom information requests and all kinds of research, and they'll do it. Some of their stuff they'll do it on behalf of you, and I think in most cases you don't even have to like make a donation or anything.
Right.
And they've been responsible for a lot, like especially a lot of the Stingray stuff that's been coming out about the Stingray. You know about the Stingray?
Yeah, I do.
The cell phone thing.
Yeah.
They've been a big source of getting that out. In Tor, I don't know if you guys know what Tor is.
A very limited knowledge of it.
It's basically
That's how you access the real internet.
well, it's a way of accessing the internet where it's pretty hard for obviously the NSA figured out how to crack into it, but it's really hard to figure out where the traffic is going and coming from, because the packet only knows the next node that it's going to and the node that it came from. Mm-hmm. So each time it hits a new node, it only knows the node that it came from and the node that it's going to.
Right.
So it's pretty crazy how all that works. But Tor is this crazy thing, and I thought I remember somebody said they were building something like Tor, but like Tor on steroids.
Yeah, I've heard that where they're working on. I mean, it takes to do that limitless compression to do it, which this is getting so far into computer jargon. But what it basically needs to do is it takes the packets, it breaks them up, and simultaneously as it breaks them, it on the other side brings them back together, but it turns around and bounces at each individual packet and individual, like it breaks down the packet, puts it out to separate nodes, and then comes back at one continuous node and comes back together. But like it just breaks it spiderwebs it and brings it back. And when doing that, it makes it so much freaking harder to trace, because each individual packet gets broken up several times before it even makes it to its final destination.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But the computing processor, or the computing power that it takes to run something like that is just disgustingly large, because that's a lot of data compression. So, anyways, before we went on air, Bill was talking about Snowden and Twitter, which is awesome because, anybody who doesn't know how to get, the word from Edward Snowden and what he's doing and everything, that is the spot to go, because that is his main source of communication with the world is Twitter. So, and now anybody who has followed him, I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but he only follows one thing back, and the one place that he follows back is the NSA. Yeah. I find that hysterical.
Yeah, his first tweet was, "Can you hear me now?"
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yep.
"Can you hear me now?" And a lot of politicians came out and said, we shouldn't give, Twitter needs to shut him down. Twitter, blah, blah, blah. And the CEO of Twitter, sent Snowden a tweet welcoming him to Twitter.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is like in the face of the politicians, like, fuck you. This is Twitter. We do what we want.
But now that we've covered the movie, let's cover the man. Let's talk about what Edward Snowden actually did for anybody who's been living under a rock.
Oh, dude.
It's a big-ass rock.
Well, like, the thing is, most people don't know who he is.
The
That's the crazy
misconception
thing.
of what he has done, unreal. I mean, you say Snowden, what's the first thing you get from a lot of people?
They think they think WikiLeaks.
Well, no.
Oh,
first
WikiLeaks,
first they go, who?
Yeah.
Right.
Isn't that the guy
I got traitor from two people. It's like, traitor? Well, I don't get it. Where's your traitor come from?
Yeah, well, who did he trade?
Right, yeah. He didn't do that.
Yep.
Well, he lives in Russia. He's a Russian spy. Oh, shut up.
Like, no.
He's not working for Russia. He's not.
And
he was flying into Russia.
Yeah, that's the limit of what he did.
That was he wanted to fly into Russia to fly the fuck out of Russia. There was
fly
no
to Ecuador.
No part of his plan was like, I'm gonna be trapped in Russia for 3 years.
3 years, yep.
Yeah, that was nowhere on his plan. That was not supposed to happen. But
Well, his girlfriend lives with him now, so.
yeah. So
she did.
Yeah,
Well,
she
it was at the end of the movie. It came across the
Oh,
screen.
you know what? That's right. Yeah. It's like, what is that? I missed that
There
part.
was a lot. There was a lot to absorb.
But anyways,
Just to see how a lot of the characters in the movie that were in these agencies were just very nonchalant about, spying on people. The one guy was like, "Oh yeah, we can look at anything," and he's like, "Oh yeah, here she is. Here's her webcam. Yeah, we can look at her changing." It's like,
Bizarre.
and
Bizarre.
I've known that's possible for a long ass time, a long ass time, prior to even Snowden coming out, because that was something that, honestly, when I was in high school, you could use Google, Yahoo, actually, realistically, and find out how to do things like this.
And actually, if you look at this computer right here, right now, this webcam is taped off.
Oh yeah,
Because I play around.
my webcam's unplugged.
Mine has a Band-Aid over it.
He's like, I'm going the Snowden route.
Yep.
Band-Aid. Give him some padding. But
Made for a good sound effect when they peeled it off and then stuck it back and then peeled it off.
Yeah.
But it's just, it comes down to understanding that, before he came out and told the world what America was really doing, it was a lot of cloak and dagger operations that they were doing to just dragnet the entire world. Not America,
Yeah,
the entire fucking world.
And anybody who had any ideas about this were coming out and they were looking like Dale Gribble. Anybody who's seen King of the Hill, Dale Gribble, the government's spying on us. Rusty Shackelford,
Now, I got a question for you guys. Seriously. Now, I mean, I'm outraged. At the spying of Americans, the wholesale spying on Americans. By Americans.
Well, the wholesale spying on the world.
Well,
Yeah.
What's your feeling on that though? Is there a place? Is there a place where you can actually say to yourself, you know what, that's probably a good thing?
No.
No, not at all.
No,
Well,
I can't.
the thing is, when
Any
people collect information, you don't really understand how or what the information will inevitably be used for. Like the Germans, before World War II, they had a census, and in their census, they collected information about like sexuality. Well, so they kind of had this list of homosexuals. Well, when the Nazi Party took over, came to power, they now had a list of all the homosexuals, and they could just it was like
That's all they had to do. They just knock on the door, take them.
yeah, it was like what Snowden said. It was turnkey tyranny.
Yeah.
But see, what I got from him from the movie, is that he may not have been for spying on foreigners, but he wasn't necessarily against it. Okay, he saw there might have been some good there. It's when the wholesale spying on the American people that just threw him over the edge, and using his programs to do it.
Well, I know you asked about, is there any way that I could see it being good? And honestly, the way I see it is, I feel like the U.S. government has been collecting this information because every single one of us has a detailed file of how we've fucked up ever. So if they ever need to, they can bury any American citizen that they need to.
Well, I think that's why they're not going after people for pirating stuff. I mean, people pirate shit like crazy.
Yep.
Like crazy. And people have been doing it for years. And it wouldn't take that much to figure out who it is.
Considering that when you are pirating, a lot of times your internet company sends you an email like, yo, shut that shit down because we know you're doing it.
Yeah. I mean, any smart pirate would have a VPN. But
still, it doesn't matter. I mean, at the end of the day, they can figure out how and who's doing that.
Well, I'm more, when it comes to people with VPNs, those people are probably more worried about their cable company right now than they are worried about the NSA.
Yeah.
So yeah. I know when Snowden does his video calls and stuff, I think he uses like 7 or 8 proxies.
Yeah.
So that's
nuts.
It's
necessary.
No. I mean, it's nuts to have to take that kind of.
He doesn't mess around.
Precaution.
Well, my thing was at the beginning he put everybody's phones in the microwave. Now I also heard that he has people put their phones in the fridge. That was when he asked for the person's phone. I immediately said fridge, but they put it in the microwave. But still, same concept, Faraday cage.
Right.
But,
so there's no way you could see that as being a good thing, spying on anybody.
well, okay.
Keep in mind, I'm not giving that.
Can I take this one?
Yeah, have fun.
If it were to be any good, what the fuck has been going on this past week? Hasn't there been like bombs and shit going off in New York?
New York.
You don't think that was staged? Sorry, my bad.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying though. If it was effective, if they were really doing it, then how the fuck are the bombs going off? Like, how the fuck are terrorists still allowed to attack people?
Considering that you're sitting there and one of the programs that they focus on allows you just to type in some freaking keywords.
X key score.
Yeah. Just throw in some keywords, hit enter, and
it's the Google for everything, public and private. Like,
so you text the word Obama, bomb, and jihad in one freaking text, and let me tell you,
we're probably in a list right now, some voice recognition thing. Just heard you say that.
and now somebody at the NSA is sitting there watching us going,
well, hey, we got one viewer.
Yeah. We wouldn't even have to be live when we'd have a viewer right now. But anyways, it's just, I don't see that kind of surveillance ever being good, because one of the things that they majorly focus on to get people to understand is that they work outside of the U.S. government. They really do. I mean, warrants are issued post-fact.
We can get started on the warrants too. The FISA courts.
Exactly.
I have learned so much in the past 24 hours about FISA. I mean, it's shocking. Shocking.
It's a rubber stamp.
These people don't need anything
Well,
Here you are.
the way the
Stamp.
U.S. Government's supposed to work is if you're in an investigation and you need to do a wiretap or anything, you have to go to a judge. Judge has to sign off on it, and you can do it. With the FISA Corp or court, you can turn around, you can do it, then go to them and say, "Listen, this is what we found," and they go, "Warrants accepted."
I don't know if you guys caught this in the movie, but when they were doing the searches in X key score, they had a little drop down menu for a reason, and they just had some, blanket, just rubber stamp, like, oh,
Very general reasons.
Yeah, just some very general reasons, and you put that in there, and then it's almost like the computer program was like, yeah, you got FISA approval.
Yep.
Like, is it in the program?
I think they may have actually done that.
Did I pick the right one?
There's just somebody who's working over there at the court. It's just like, enter, 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 enter.
I mean, in the movie, when he starts talking about the Nuremberg trials and Schindler's List, and it's like, and just to hear the guy, like, it was almost like the guy that he was talking to, like, didn't know that they prosecuted all the soldiers and stuff that they could find.
Yeah, you're right. It's like he missed that, class in history.
Yeah, he had this like bewildered look on his face, and I just want to wonder, did that really happen? Because it's like, how could you not know that? Like,
yeah,
like just doing your job is not. It doesn't free you from culpability.
Right.
You're still culpable.
And I mean, we said here you really can't see a good explanation or good reason behind spying.
Well,
where are you going with this, Bill?
Here's the reason why.
No, I agree with you. I actually do agree with you. But what's allowing the government to do it then? Why?
Free will? I don't.
Yeah,
no, but see, it's not free will though. They have to answer to us, don't they?
No, not anymore.
Have you paid any attention to the world since you've been alive? They don't answer to us.
This is the problem. Okay, you got your government answers to your big corporations. Your big corporations depend on your government to be able to lobby trade agreements and stuff. It's like the G20 summit.
Right.
So you have these big spying operations, which
they bring up in the movie.
Well, they talk about in the movie where they spy on other governments so they can get leverage in these big summit meetings for our corporations. And it's like, well, if the corporations are the ones that the Congress, that the lawmakers answer to, then I wouldn't say we don't have a say in it at all.
No, to be sad and real here, the only thing that our government answers to is that piece of paper that's in our wallet.
Well, and it's not a bug in the system, it's a feature.
Yeah.
It's not a bug, it's a feature. And it was almost back in the day, you had these labor unions and things like that would collect up money, and they'd go see their congressman and they'd donate. And the congressman would say, well, I have a bunch of money from here, I have support, and this other side has money too that they're giving me. And that was their kind of way of judging, what support they had. But nowadays, when you have these big businesses coming with, millions of dollars, and we have like fucking money.
We got $12.
What money we have in our pocket? It's almost like a lot of the times these politicians don't hear from the other side. They don't know, or they're not seeing any money, so they're like, nobody cares about this other side. So they just go with where the money is.
Well, to go back to another thing that Bill was where we were talking about is there anything good from it? Let's go off of their explanation where you've got in tier 1, you've got one guy that you need to look at. So to look at him, you look at everybody he's in communication with, friends, family, anybody he has a conversation with, and it turns around tier 2, and now they're looking at everybody that all of them knows. And by tier 3, you're looking at 2.3 million people on average. I mean, when to try to check out what's going on in Bill Godin's life, I gotta look at 2.3 million people to find out everything I need to know about him.
Oh, 3, but
realistically, I mean, that tells you right then and there that there's way too much data being collected, because at some point you've got somebody getting paid their money to sit there and watch some person you've actually physically never met, talked to, or anything, watching cat videos naked on their bed at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Damn, I gotta close my windows.
And see, the thing is, when you're collecting all this information, you kind of look at it like, okay, you collect just a little information and you keep that classified. And I'm gonna kind of apply this to information collection and classified documents. If you're classifying everything and you're collecting everything, and when we have most of the time, or a lot of the time in the government, when something is classified, it's not because it's national security, it's just because they don't want you to know. Either a politician doesn't want to know about a business dealing because it could affect him in the future, or whatever, so they mark it classified. So the same goes with bulk. I mean, these are kind of two different subjects, but they kind of are the same when it comes to leaks, because if you are only collecting a thimble size full of water, that's easy to manage. You can collect it yourself, and you can make sure that it stays, good. But if you are collecting, say, an Olympic-sized swimming pool worth of information, or classifying a Olympic-sized swimming pool of information, then you need help from other people to help collect and contain. And when you have so much information like that, leaks are almost inevitable. I mean, when you're just collecting and collecting and collecting, it's kind of like, you're trying to hold all this water in, and eventually somewhere it's going to come out, because it's just too much to try to scramble around and make sure everything stays in.
Well, I mean, they're doing this all in a digital age, and the scary thing about the digital age is that, when it was back in pen and paper, somebody had to sneak in to where this was and copy that exact document down to see it. Like, if there was a spy, that's what they had to do.
Well, that's kind of what they did in Media, Pennsylvania, when they broke into the FBI office. They just had to physically copy these documents and then disseminate them. Now, drag and drop, dude.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's,
Well, now it's just a question of access.
Well, yeah. Access is, as much as you sit there and try to say that it might not be, access on the internet is limited only to your ambition.
Because,
exactly. Oh, I agree.
Internet, there's a joke out there that internet that's called internet security. There is no such thing, because I don't care what kind of security you have, it's only as good as it is until somebody figures their way around it.
And during my time in Anonymous, you would have, people that kind of didn't know what they were doing, and they would, and then you had the people who knew enough about what they were doing to do some damage. And then you had the people that were really good and they could do a lot of damage. But then you had these certain people that could get into anything. Yep. I mean anything. NASA.
Quietly.
Banks. CEOs. These guys in Anonymous hacked a cybersecurity firm that said publicly that they were going to get Anonymous and figure out who everybody was, and that they had this huge file on them. Anonymous hacked them and proved that they didn't have shit. I mean, it's pretty fucking comical. And like this company had to come out and say, yeah, like they were disgraced. They were disgraced. They came out and said, yeah, those documents are real. We didn't have anything.
I mean, there's a good point that's kind of very lightly hinted at in the movie, that our next big war inside of this world isn't going to be fought on a battleground. It's going to be fought online, and they're currently trying to fight. Countries are fighting this right now. Doing everything online, because you can send in 1 million troops and that's great, but you send the right bit of code and you can drop a government.
Absolutely.
And I mean, look at those people who knew just enough to be able to shut down the power supply in Detroit, and turned around and held the city of Detroit at ransom for bitcoins. I mean, now granted they got caught, But they were holding.
They were able to do
entire-
it.
Well, there were other people that actually encrypted, what was it, Detroit's entire criminal database. Encrypted the whole thing. And the FBI said that the FBI said, there's nothing we can do. You have to pay this ransom.
Yeah.
And they did. The people never got caught, and it was like millions of dollars they had to pay these hackers.
Yep.
It was just... And it's like, if those
We
hackers
don't
had
negotiate with terrorists, but we negotiate with hackers
well,
because
and
they
if
can
those
shut us
hackers,
down.
if those hackers had any morals, they would have taken the money from the government and been like, "Fuck you."
Well, yes, that's possible unless they were part of the government. I mean, there's always that fringe thinking where Anonymous is part of the government.
I honestly think that Anonymous was something that was started by the CIA that they lost control of.
Like the Islamic State.
Yeah.
They're so good at starting these projects that work so well. They realize they hate the way America works, and just starts working against it. It's like they started to drop something else, and then the snake gets too big to eat the rat, and it goes after bigger snakes. Like that's just what it does.
Yeah.
And it's kind of insane to look at because it happens all the time.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Now, have you guys heard about this conspiracy theory sort of thing, where
Air quotes.
where Snowden is a CIA agent that was,
Which he was.
Well, yeah, but but where Snowden's the CIA agent that was sent in to discredit the NSA because all these intelligence
Because they all
factions
hate each other.
So like it was sent in to expose and discredit the NSA.
I guess
and
that
he's
works.
really a CIA agent, and that's why he's able to do all this stuff, and he's still alive, and he's not dead.
I would
think-
say the reason why he's still alive is because they can, he can make a video all he wants going, I don't have access to this information, but they don't know if that's real.
Well,
I mean,
this is
when you're
okay.
sitting there holding terabytes and terabytes of information on a government going,
Well,
that's what it takes.
Well, see, my thing is, I think that as a safeguard, he took 9/11 documents, and in the movie, I do believe that he has control, that he has relinquished control of all these documents, but I did hear that he has like a dead man switch sort of thing, where if certain contacts lose contact with him, they have encryption keys that they're supposed to send to these journalists to unlock more files. And I think those files are 9/11 files. And that's why he's still alive, because the government knows that he has 9/11 files and he hasn't released them. So they're just sitting there like, oh, fuck.
I'll go even on a more physical thing. I think he's still alive because of where he is.
Well, that too.
He's in Russia.
Well,
and
but you're telling me that they couldn't send a deep ops team to fucking kill Snowden.
I don't know.
I think that our government. Okay, in the the early 2000s, there was some press conference with Congress where they showed off this gun that they had, where they could freeze poison into crystallized darts and shoot them at people using air, and it would penetrate into them and feel like just a bug bite or a bee sting or something, and then they would die.
Yep.
From what seemed like natural causes. Now, if they're showing this thing off, then that means that they already have something even better.
Where they can do this from like a mile away.
I think if they wanted Snowden dead, he'd be dead.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
I think if they in the movie they talked about how they have code in like hospitals in China and power plants and all throughout their whole grid that they can send a message to and shut down their everything. Now, I'm likely to believe that that's possible, that they have that.
Oh, I did for sure.
I mean, because the Chinese companies, a lot of them are not very good at what they do. There's a big old spider right there. They're not very good at what they do. They're sort of lazy at counterfeiting, and I'm thinking that they're probably going to be lazy at cybersecurity. I'm not 100%. I mean,
But aren't the
there's
Chinese on the forefront of the whole cyber thing? They're kind of really good with the
I
hacking part.
would.
They're really, really good at online video games.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna be real with you there. Like they've been owning.
See, I don't know enough about China's technical stuff, but
Their
I would.
sports teams are off the chain.
But I would think that if they handled cybersecurity like the way they handled building cars, then they're fucked.
Or their dams. Because one of their dams fail.
Or no, wait, that was Japan. Never mind.
Nuclear plants.
Yeah, it was just nuclear, but that
Damn,
was Japan.
Fukushima.
That we can't mix those because those are different.
Oh yeah, and people get angry.
Yeah. Anyhow, moving on.
Let you guys get the hate mail this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm willing to believe that, and if they can do that, then it's just no question to me that they could kill anybody that they wanted dead. I mean, look at what happened to countless people, really. Yeah. Gary Webb. I mean, how do you commit suicide with a 12-gauge shotgun twice in the back of your head?
Yeah.
How does that?
I can't quite.
And then once you have a head wound, how do you do it again?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like, oh, I sort of missed, but I'm conscious enough to let's bring the gun back forward.
I can't bend. Can you bend like that? I can't bend like that.
No,
I could probably do it.
My arms.
I could probably do it, but
My arms are kind of long, but I don't think I could reach the trigger and still get the.
I think I could
the
get it.
barrel.
Okay, but now that we're done enacting shooting ourselves in the head with shotguns,
But I mean, Gary Webb is good to bring up, but at the same time, you know, we can talk about the smaller people that the government has definitely done a good job of eliminating. But if they're
you mean like JFK?
Smaller?
Yeah, let's get into JFK. I mean, or Saddam Hussein. You know, they
found that
toppled
motherfucker in a hole.
country. They toppled a country to get his ass, and
his oil.
But you know, if they really wanted to, do you really think that they wouldn't get in and out of Russia without Russia really
knowing?
Yeah, I think they could.
Yeah,
I think they could roll up with a submarine right next to Russia.
Roll up.
Yeah, roll up.
Float up.
Yeah, float up, whatever. And send a couple of those dudes in the black scuba suits out on the beach in the middle of the night, and they roll up into there, and then they fucking jump off the roof of the building with their parachutes and glide back down to where they got a helicopter waiting, and they
Seen a lot of Tony Scott films, I see.
I think it goes even further. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if
they didn't. I wouldn't be surprised
I think
if
they
they
know
didn't have
exactly
agents
where
in
the
Russia.
fuck he is.
See, I actually think that too. And
I think they know
surprised.
exactly where the fuck he is, and that they've got somebody just sitting on him, just waiting for that kill order. That's. I honestly think they do. That they've got somebody, like, if he's in room 705, they're in 707. They're right next door, just waiting for that. Oh shit, we get to kill him today. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and they're sitting there with some like ultrasonic thing up on the wall. They can figure out exactly where it's at.
No, I don't even think it's like that. It's just this thing they put up against the wall, and you're looking right the fuck through. Like it's basically just
like a stud finder on steroids.
Yeah, and just looking through, and it's straight up just showing you the just thermal imaging right through the wall.
And
they're just watching.
And they can duck hunt. You know, there's
another
silencers.
good Chinese game.
Japanese.
What?
Yeah,
he's doing it again.
Yeah, I mean, the silencers are only good if murder.
Yeah. But yeah, I would not be surprised if they're just not sitting on him like that. I mean, think about how many countries we have U.S. military bases. Military, whatever.
Military.
Think about how far the military-industrial complex stretches outside of the United States. I mean, we have legitimately got a base on every continent and damn near every country. I mean, we've got a presence.
And if you look at the map, it's like we're moving in around Russia.
Yeah.
Like I think that's gonna be our next target. Something's gonna happen, false flag, and it's gonna be Russia. And then next we have to go to war with Russia. And then Both countries destroy the world.
I think we're biding our time. I think we're biding our time until Putin kicks the bucket. And the second Putin kicks the bucket, there's going to be enough of a vacuum.
Yeah.
Enough of a vacuum that we just slide right in.
You don't think Putin's training an understudy right now to fucking
You don't
take
think
her?
Putin's half machine by now? This man makes Bond villains look like kittens, but in a great way.
Like him in that submarine, man. That
But he did not ride the bear.
Yeah,
He did not ride the bear.
I don't
think he rode that
I
bear.
didn't. I think he's ridden bears before. That picture was a Photoshop that I didn't look close enough at. It had been a while, and I saw the first time I saw it was on a phone, so it was really.
Have you seen that video or that meme of him like riding the bear and then he's like cradling over Trump? Yeah.
No,
oh my god, it is hysterical. I laugh every time.
So we mentioned Trump. Any news on him lately?
Well, Trump likes Putin, and South Park.
Oh my god.
Okay, to get some context for that episode, you need to watch the previous season so you can get the whole Garrison, Garrison running and all that, and
plus also
where
go
Caitlyn
back to
Jenner
season
comes
3 to kind of get the turd sandwich and giant douche.
I actually know
reference.
that one.
Yeah, the turd sandwich, giant douche. I'm actually gonna make a giant douche bumper sticker. I am. I'm gonna make a giant douche bumper sticker, and I'm just kind of torn. Do I put the picture of the giant douche at the podium, or do I put Garrison on there?
I think South Park has done a good job of taking Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders and making them one character, because I really do. I really think giant douche is supposed to represent both of them.
I don't
the
think
turd
so.
being, of course, Hillary.
Yes. I don't see where. I don't see where you get the Bernie aspect. I just see Garrison as the ridiculous. We're gonna fuck them all to death.
Yeah, which was fucking hilarious.
All right, can we roll the clip on that? Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll do that. This is fuck them all to death.
But you were saying South Park.
I just wanted to bring it up because it was a really, really good episode. They talked about Colin Kaepernick, and they really hit on a point that I've been drilling into everybody that I haven't, is the relevance of standing. Because they're at the end, they talked about how they had J.J. Abrams reboot the national anthem, but all they did was at the beginning announce that everybody could either stand, sit, or whatever, and that really I think it really summed up what I've been saying is the relevance of your body position to respect. To me, it doesn't make any fucking sense.
As long as you're not, like I said before, as long as you're not standing there and just jacking off during it, I think there's no real way to show disrespect.
How is that disrespect? I don't get that. That sentiment. I mean, if I saw somebody masturbating during the national anthem, I'd be like, "That's one patriotic dude."
Like he loves his country,
loves America,
and himself.
Well, and himself.
But okay, fine. Taking a shit on if they're sitting there and everybody's standing and they're just standing there or just kind of squatting there, dropping a giant deuce. I'd say you have a pretty good argument for disrespect.
I don't know. Nothing's better than a good shit in the morning.
But
you're gonna find an argument here, aren't you?
Nothing's better than a good shit in the morning. That's all I'm gonna say.
I do gotta say, I am interested tonight in watching Monday Night Football because the Eagles have announced that they are going to be joining Kaepernick as a team.
Isn't that happening right now?
No, that is
That's happening right now during this live podcast.
Good thing I've got that on DVR.
Yeah.
Because that's actually going on probably right now. So I will be
right now
watching
during this live podcast.
Yeah. So I will probably be, I'll be a little late to this Eagles game, but I'll be watching it regardless to see what's going on.
Yeah, you DVR'd the national anthem. But yeah, we don't.
Nobody does that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only thing anybody's tuning in for anymore. Like South Park showed, they do the national anthem.
Everybody's
they
going.
stand, and then everybody tunes out to go somewhere else. Did they stand? Did they sit? They are even
Shelly sat. Shelly. It was Shelly. Nobody saw that one coming. But
All right, so we're kind of puttering out. Do we want to bring this one home?
yeah, let's bring this one home.
We're about 10 minutes short, but you guys will forgive us, I guess.
Final thought, Bill.
The outrage over the mass surveillance. I mean, I've got so much to look up at home. I mean, don't trust anybody, especially the government. That's all I'm gonna say for now. I'm just furious.
What I want to say is, if you have a shirt that you want to wear that's a little bit wrinkled, you can throw it in the dryer with a damp wash rag and let it spin around in there for a minute on high heat, of course, and the moisture will help, let those wrinkles out. So you can go ahead and wear that shirt tonight.
Life hack.
Yeah, Scott with our life hack. And for my final thought, I want to say, don't even if you don't agree with anything that Edward Snowden did, don't miss this opportunity to watch Citizen4, watch Snowden, and educate yourself. Because I highly doubt once you take a look at what has actually been going on and get a grasp of it yourself, there's no way you're going to be able to turn around and, say this man wasn't a patriot. And did this against our country. He did it for our country. But
if you're an Obama fan, I don't think you're gonna like this movie.
Yeah.
Because I was starting to join back on Team Obama, with him letting people out of prison for the non-violent stuff, and then you just see that clip of him just saying, "We're not gonna scramble jets for some hacker." I'm just sitting there like,
fuck you, man. yeah. Like we both kind of just leaned to each other at the movie theater, like, fuck Obama.
He just lost 2 votes.
Yeah.
Well,
not that he cares.
Yeah, not that he's getting any more votes. But yeah, let's take this thing home.
Wah 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 wah.